Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm a child psychiatrist, a parent coach, and I'm also a mum. And I'm doing a series of videos about parenting at Christmas because often Christmas is a tricky time for families. It can be very positive, but can also be quite tricky. And I thought it would be just very helpful to do a few videos in the run up to Christmas. And today I'm going to be talking about family at Christmas. So if that's something you want to know a bit more about, then have a listen. Obviously, different people have very different experiences of family at Christmas. For some people, that's the whole point of Christmas, and though of course it's a little bit stressful, they really, really enjoy getting together with a big family, and that's what Christmas is all about, and it's actually enjoyable for them. And I think if you are that person, then you're very lucky. I think it's a fantastic thing to be happening, and of course, it'll be very nice to socialise your child into that, and that's really great. For a lot of people, the meeting with family is something that they can feel they maybe have to do or have to do in a certain way or have certain people round. And often we haven't actually stopped to think whether that is how we want to do it or whether the amount of time we spend with them is the amount of time we want to spend with them or whether this is just something that we feel we have to do because that's what's always been done. And I really wanted to say that you don't really have to spend time at Christmas with anyone that you don't want to, which I appreciate is probably very tough to think about. But it is really, really important that you spend Christmas in a way that's authentic to you because you're teaching your child how to have Christmases for their life. And I guess if what you want to teach them is that Christmas is a day you give up and you just do for other people, then you can do that. But if you want to say to them, well, actually, Christmas is a time when you might want to give some of your time up to people that maybe you don't particularly want to see, but you feel that it would be a really good thing to do. It might make them feel better. It might make them feel less lonely. And in a way, it's a kind of charitable thing that you do maybe for some people, then that's okay. But you also have to teach them about some of the boundaries and how much time you spend doing that. Because I think we often end up feeling like we have to do things at Christmas because we've done them forever, and it's very, very hard to just stop and think, okay, actually, is this exactly what I want to be doing? And I think when it comes to seeing family, this is really key because it can cause a lot of difficult emotions if you choose not to spend time with family or you choose to spend a shorter amount of time with particular family members and you choose to be more in control of what you do at Christmas. It can cause a lot of very difficult feelings and it can be very hard to think about actually addressing that. But as I said, you are setting your child up for the future, so have a think about what's going to be most useful for them and how do you want them to be celebrating Christmases in the time to come. You probably want them to be having a fairly enjoyable time even when they grow up to be adults. And if what you teach them is that, as I said, Christmas is a time you have to see your family members regardless of whether you want to or not, then that's probably what they're going to take away from it. There's different things you can do if there are family members that you struggle with, or if you generally don't particularly like spending Christmas with maybe your family of origin for some reason. Certainly, if there's any very difficult things that have happened in your family of origin, you absolutely do not have to do it. You absolutely do not have to see people that you don't want to see. You can choose to have a very small family Christmas just with your partner and your child, or just with your child if it's the two of you. There's nothing to say that's bad for them or that they're going to somehow be really affected by that. The important thing is that you are okay doing that, if that's something that you want to do. But if there are family members where you feel that you do need to see them and you're happy to make that commitment, but you don't really want to be spending the entire day with them, then it is absolutely okay to drop in for a short amount of time, to limit the amount of time you spend with them, and to be very clear about that, and to spend the majority of your time on Christmas Day doing it in the way that works for you, which may be with friends, which may be with family, it may be in whatever way that you see fit. But I think it's really important to think about the different options for you. You do not have to do things in the way that you have always done them. And just because people are family, it does not mean that you have to like spending time with them. Sometimes families are fantastic and supportive, and it's really, really great to be part of them. Sometimes families are where the worst things happen, and sometimes you might have experienced very significant abuse or just really significant negative events. And really, in those cases, just because people are your family, it does not mean that you have to feel good about them or that you're obliged to do anything for them. Obviously, these are very individual circumstances, but I know that lots of people who feel that really very difficult things have happened to in their family, and they don't really want to be spending time with them, still feel that they have to. And I guess this is what this message is about. You are socializing your child into these situations. So if not for yourself, think about how you would like them to behave, what kind of Christmases you would like them to have, and make your decisions accordingly.